Welcome to the CanadianSME Small Business Podcast, where we explore the intersection of technology and business innovation. Today, we're diving into the world of tech-driven business optimization.
Right now, paper can only travel as fast as you can move paper from one location to another. But if you can transfer your business to online documents using something like Google Drive, spreadsheets online, you can transfer documents digitally, instantaneously, have them synchronized instantly, and then all of a sudden it opens up the opportunity to open up another shop, maybe in a different city, across the country.
Dear folks, as we've heard from Luke, technology can be a powerful tool for business growth. But remember, it's not about adopting every new tech trend out there. It's about finding the right solutions for your unique business needs. How will you apply these insights to drive your SME forward? Welcome to the CanadianSME Small Business Podcast, where we explore the intersection of technology and business innovation. I'm your host, Kripa Anand, and today we're diving into the world of tech-driven business optimization. Did you know that Canadian businesses investing in digital technologies are 62% more likely to experience high sales growth? This statistic underscores the importance of our topic today. Joining us is Luke Jasudavicius, a software architect, entrepreneur, and founder of Experience Driven, a consultancy that specializes in optimizing business operations through technology. With a background in mechanical engineering from the University of Toronto, Luke has spent nearly a decade at the forefront of Canada's digital consulting scene, building everything from sleek web apps to machine learning systems. Join us as we explore how Canadian SMEs can leverage technology to overcome challenges, optimize operations, and prepare for the future of business. Luke, welcome to the podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me, Krupa.
Definitely, it's our pleasure. Now, I'm specifically very interested for the topic that we have today. Let's start by understanding the usage of technology in businesses from a layman's perspective, right? Now, a recent survey reveals that 47% of Canadian SMEs are still not fully embracing digital tools to enhance their operations. Now, this presents a tremendous opportunity for businesses to grow and succeed in a competitive market. Now, from your experience, Luke, how can small and medium-sized enterprises best integrate technology into their, day-to-day operations? What's your take on that?
I mean, my first thing that I say to everyone is, okay, well, how much of your business are you doing on paper? Because right now, paper can only travel as fast as you can move paper from one location to another, and that limits your ability to scale. And for a lot of people and a lot of old school businesses, they like paper, they're used to it. But if you can transfer your business to online documents using something like Google Drive, spreadsheets online, you can transfer documents digitally, instantaneously, have them synchronized instantly, and then all of a sudden it opens up the opportunity to open up another shop, maybe in a different city,
Right.
across the country, and all of your information is instantly shared across the whole team, and this is virtually free to do. Well, let's put it this way: there's an implementation cost, there's a training cost, there's the challenge of, okay, how do we convert to
Right.
digital? But Google Drive is free. The free
Right.
tier is, at
Right.
least. And so that's a really low-hanging fruit that I think a lot of businesses can take advantage of. And then from there, you can look into more specialization. So that would be my first shot.
Right. And I would agree with you because, sometimes the most simple things, they're right in front of our eyes, but we don't know how to make the best use of it, right? Now, on top of your mind, Luke, can you share an example of, an SME that you saw having a rapid growth or, cost savings after embracing technology?
Yeah, I mean, and I'll probably go back to this example a lot because this is a client that we've worked with extensively throughout the years. They were a bookseller,
Mm-hmm.
and they're Toronto based. And prior to us getting involved with them, they had a warehouse. They were managing their stocks. I mean, they use Google Drive. They use Google Sheets to manage their warehouse. And they were using certain off-the-shelf tools and a combination of handwritten labels. And we built a warehouse management system for them that actually allows them to pick and pack 50% faster than the national average. And with that, over the next couple of years, they're investing in actually a smart conveyor belt system, which is going to like quadruple, or maybe I think it's actually tenfold, increase the amount of books they can process.
Wow, that's big.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's those kind of things that make a business, a small type shop into something that now they're looking to opening up a warehouse in Pennsylvania, and they're scaling dramatically.
It opens your channels for expansion, right?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Great. I think you articulated that example very well. Now, let's turn our attention to the broader hurdles, SMEs face in everyday challenges. Now, we all know that small businesses are vital in Canada, right?
Mm-hmm.
SMEs employ around 10 million people throughout Canada. Now, however, nearly half of these business owners identify economic uncertainty as their, most significant obstacle to growth. Now, addressing this challenge, it's crucial to unlocking their full potential and, driving economy forward.
Mm-hmm.
Now, according to you, Luke, what are the most significant challenges that you've observed for Canadian businesses, when it comes to implementing new technologies, and, how can they overcome these hurdles? Because why I ask this is because, a lot of people, they're very hesitant in trying new things.
Mm-hmm.
So digital technology, for someone who's done all the work throughout his life on a piece of paper, now it's pretty difficult to get on a computer and transfer the entire system on the computer. So how do you see that?
Right. That's a fantastic question. Canadians and Canadian entrepreneurs they're well known to be risk averse compared to their United States counterparts. And so one of the biggest challenges, I think, is a psychological one.
Mm-hmm.
One has to be willing to embrace risk.
Right.
And this is like the tried and true rule of business is without risk, there's no reward.
Right.
And so one has to be able to embrace that risk and shoot for the stars. I think the other challenge is where to invest money. So Canadian investment dollars, only about 9% of investment dollars in Canada go into actual business investment. That's like technology, patents, equipment,
Right.
compared to close to 18% of investment dollars go into real estate. And real estate is almost it's kind of the elephant in the room, I would say, in terms of let's call it business investment in Canada, because it's so lucrative, it's so safe. And when, I speak to a lot of businesses, and I know a lot of people who, they run their business, but then they also have a significant side business that's just pure real estate.
Hmm.
And so I think a lot of people, especially the small to medium, if they want to grow to be large,
Right.
a large business, they have to just like fully invest in their business. They have to, and not be kind of sidelined and look at, okay, there's a lot of real estate opportunities there, and it's a really safe investment. So they make some money.
Focus, attention should be
on their business.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like how can you change the world? How can you create a new system that's going to allow your business to like scale, to grow across Canada and across the world?
Right.
And instead they're like, okay, well, no, I'll buy a triplex. I'll buy a condo, whatever. And all of that money that could have gone back into your business, and all of that time and effort and energy that could have gone back into your business, thinking about how to solve problems efficiently and drive the economy forward, create jobs, create better services.
Right.
Instead, it's like, okay, now it's going to be a rental income. And
Right.
that's not,
It's a safety pool.
it's yeah. And so it's like, I understand the allure of that because it's safe investment. And so, as I said, Canadians are risk averse.
Right.
But just overcoming that and trying to just trying to like just having that like confidence to think that, you know, it's going to be hard. There's going to be some growing pains, but if I do this, it's going to translate to not only a better business, but also a better Canada.
Right.
Because right now, like, you know, things are tough, and the real estate market is part of it. And so the more dollars that go into it make it more expensive for everyone. And so I would say, like, focus on efficiency, focus on your business.
Right.
Yeah.
Very interesting point there. Now, another challenge that, you know, we commonly see around is that a lot of businesses, especially startups, they don't have a lot of funding. They don't have a lot of money. Now, you know, SMEs with limited resources, how do they prioritize, you know, technology investments to get the best ROI or the best return on investments? Like, they already have a limited budget, right? So
Right.
they don't have the dollars to burn and just do the trial and error method. They need to do something that they know for sure is going to work. So for all the, you know, listeners out there who are listening to this podcast right now, a lot of them are young entrepreneurs who are looking to seek advice from people like you. Now, what would your advice be to people with limited money and limited resources? What should they do?
Well, there are a lot of government programs out there that provide assistance for technology. So one program is the SHRED program, the
Right.
Scientific Research and Development program, which actually is quite generous. It's actually in Canada, it's one of the best. It's one of the best in the world as far as recapturing some of the money that was invested into research, scientific research and development. And so I would say talk to look into that, but I would say there's lots of consultancies that help businesses just onboard on that process, ensure that their claims go through, and so that's one big one. But if we're talking even smaller scale, where it's like maybe just a kind of a really small, like mom and pop type shop, like I said before, consider using digital tools like Google Drive, Google Sheets,
Right.
that kind of thing. You can get a lot of let's say bang for your buck in terms of optimizing your website. Just make sure that you're providing the right information that's needed there.
You're highlighting
you're
important points.
Yeah, you're able to be found online. Everyone's shopping online these days.
Yes.
And then maybe like you could talk to someone like me or any other, you know, there's lots of consultancies out there that can give a lot of ideas. We give a lot of free advice. You know, you have no idea how many phone calls I've had, and it just ends there because I'll give them some great ideas and they'll just go off running. And so if you're interested in something like that, like just give me a call. I'm really open. I'm not, you know, I like to just help people. So there's a lot you can do, but every industry is different. It's hard to, or every business is different. So everyone has their own challenges. But yeah, there's a lot of free tools out there too online if you just search, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Great. Now that's some really practical and really interesting advice, I'd say. Stay tuned. Up next, Luke shares real-world examples of how SMEs successfully leverage technology for growth.
Hey, you think you know UPS? Yeah, that's us. Everybody knows that. You know what you didn't know? This. Okay, try to keep up. Ocean, us. Ground, rail, air, so us. Guess who? Us. Customs cleared, borders cleared, done. Us. Still with me? Wait for it. Boom. Us. Intelligent, automated, fulfillment. Us. Yep. Healthcare too. Digital your thing? Yeah. Well, book it, ship it, track it. You feeling me yet? Yep. That's all us. That's all UPS.
At IHG Hotels and Resorts, we're in the business of you.
We're here to help you plug in,
connect and recharge,
make an impression,
and meet with confidence. With 19 brands built for business,
your business gets even more rewarding.
With an award-winning loyalty program at 6,000 IHG hotels and resorts worldwide.
Welcome back, guys. Get ready for inspiring stories of how Canadian businesses transform through technology. Now, Luke, let's look ahead and, let's explore what the future holds for technology in business. Now, Canada's technology sector, it's experiencing remarkable growth, right? Accounting for about 5% of the entire nation's GDP. Now, this trend, it highlights the, industry's current success and points to a promising future filled with innovative solutions and opportunities. Now, based on your experience and insights, Luke, what emerging technologies do you believe have the biggest impact on Canadian SMEs in the next, say, 5 years or say a decade? And also, secondly, second part of the question, how can businesses, prepare for these changes as well?
Well, I mean, the big one that probably anyone could say is stuff like ChatGPT. That's revolutionized the world, frankly, overnight. How many people are partially drafting emails through that, or creating documentation using ChatGPT, and that technology is only getting better every day. And funny, it's something that's crazy to think about. It's it seems so magical. It's such an awesome tool, but what we have of that technology right now is the worst it's ever going to be, because it's only going to get better. And so it's only in its infancy. ChatGPT came out 2-3 years ago now. So this is a brand new thing. This is think of the first iPhone and how rudimentary it was. And now everyone has a smartphone, and it's commonplace. And so I think AI style systems are going to do that. It's going to have the same kind of arc. And so that's going to be the big one for sure. I think another one is in the financial space. So online banking, online invoicing, having cheaper, easier to use solutions in that area is I think a big one. In Canada, at least, because there's a lot of great technology in the United States, but because of regulatory reasons, they're slower to transition to Canada. But slowly, we're getting better. Investment applications that are easier to use for people to just download an app and start trading on their phone, or online banking that has lower fees and better reporting. So those kind of things I think are a big one. But again, the big one is AI, and that's going to take on a whole life of its own. Right? It's impossible to predict where that's going to go.
Right, I completely agree. And on the same note, I just wanted to ask this. It's just a random question that comes in my mind right now during this conversation. A lot of young entrepreneurs or just founders, now with AI being such a vital aspect in everyone's life, they've started to think that, should we hire more people, or should we just get the work done by giving all the responsibility to this one person, one human person, and GPT, right? Now, what do you think? What will your advice be to those people? Is it a combination of human and AI? Is it just AI, or is it just dealing it smartly? How do you see
Well, I mean, that's a good question. I don't know what the future holds for AI. It's hard to say. I think it will be something like you said, where it's instead of having a team of, it might be you might have a lawyer, and you might have a whole team of paralegals who are doing a lot of your work. But instead, you'll just have a digital paralegal or a computer programmer in my domain.
They can draft, they can research, they can do everything that a full team of paralegals would do, right? Now, do you save money there, or do you invest in, what's the strategy there?
Well, I mean, it depends on the industry. It depends on what you do. We might see a shift towards more service style employment. So where humans are involved, or where they're interacting with other humans. So it's they're really the customer service front, and all of the hard work, let's say, even though that's a hard job too, but all the hard work is done by a team of bots. And then there's also got to be a whole line of like checks and balances, like they call it a human in the loop,
Right.
where the AI is going to spit out some answer, but you'll always need someone to proofread it, to approve
Right,
it.
because everyone
Yeah.
knows that even ChatGPT can make mistakes, right?
Right.
It's written right there at the bottom of it.
Yes.
So I think a combination of human and AI is the best way to go,
Mhm.
because without a human touch, even the AI information, it's dangerous, first of all. And secondly, it's futile if there's no one to guide it strategically, right?
Yeah.
Now, great. Now let's explore some practical examples of how businesses can implement these ideas in real life. Now, according to a recent study, 56.5% of clean technology, SMEs in Canada adopted at least one advanced technology between 2018 and 2020. Now, we can take an example of business intelligence or design information systems. These success stories, they provide valuable lessons for inspiration for other SMEs. Now, do you have any, other specific example, if you just want to go back to this example and, broaden on that, how a Canadian SME successfully used technology to overcome a significant business challenge or, achieve remarkable growth?
Right. Well, I mean, yeah, I think I would go back to the bookseller.
Mhm.
They're multiplying their business by a factor of 10 through technology. And they the guy who's running this, he's a young guy, he's ambitious, he's kind of tech focused, and I think there's a lot of opportunity there for younger entrepreneurs who are kind of tech minded. They grew up with technology, they understand the value of it, they're not afraid of it,
Right.
and embrace it. And so, like I said, we built a warehouse management system for them that reduces their pick and pack time by 50%. It automatically lists on Amazon. It does a whole bunch of stuff for them. And he's got a huge vision. And I think, I guess that's it. Is like you have to have that dream or have a grand vision. You don't want to think small when it comes to technology, because technology changes the world. And it's funny because, like, what is technology? It's the wheel is technology, like stuff that we take for granted. Yeah. It's like literally anything is technology. Yeah. And so, like, digital technology is just kind of the latest frontier of what we do as humans.
Right.
And businesses will inevitably continuously be competing and using every tool at their disposal to do it. So you asked about other examples. I mean, I think another one is websites. Mm-hmm. To be honest, web experiences. There are a lot of companies that they do. Well, most of your advertising is done online. A lot of your sales are done online.
Right.
And if your website looks exactly the same as everyone else's, then you kind of get lost in the mix. So if you can add value right on your web page, maybe it's like some sort of calculator, or maybe even like some sort of, like, you can log into an account and do something online that's like providing actual value, but like at no cost. That's a great way to bring people in. And so we've built lots of calculators for businesses online, like mortgage calculators, or like if you're a landscaper or something, square footage and cost estimates and that kind of thing, or for renovations, like a project estimator. And one that reduces your sales team let's say burden, because you kind of can filter the tire kickers from actual people who are interested in a project, because they can do an online quote, they can do it by themselves.
Right.
And if the pricing is not there, then they're like, oh, okay. We don't have to come in and talk to a salesperson. So it filters out people. But then it's also like, oh, wow, these guys are really, they know what they're doing. They know what they're talking about.
Right.
And people come in with an they already know what to expect. And so I think that's another thing that we've done, but is also something a lot of people can do, is just add extra value or add extra services, like right into your business, free services, and it builds credibility.
Right. So I think you mentioned a very important point here that even as a business, owner, even as an entrepreneur, it's not you don't start a business just to make money, right? There's a
Right.
purpose behind it. There's a bigger mission behind it. And I think if you're just able to do even 5% of that through your website or something that's, socially available, I think you're doing the part. Dear folks, as we've heard from Luke, technology can be a powerful tool for business growth. But remember, it's not about adopting every new tech trend out there. It's about finding the right solutions for your unique business needs. How will you apply these insights to drive your SME forward? Now, let's shift focus to the next segment. Now, this is particularly my favorite. It's about your personal journey. It's a story from setbacks to success. Now, Luke, setbacks, they often lead to greater success, especially in the technology industry, as evident by your early career resilience. You've shared an interesting anecdote about being fired from your first job out of university, right? Only to be rehired within weeks. Can you tell us more about this experience and how did it shape your approach to business and technology? First of all, the first part of the question. How did you manage to get fired and then get rehired within weeks?
No, so I studied mechanical engineering, which is not a computer programming domain. I did a little bit in high school, and that was pretty much the base of my computer programming knowledge. But through a friend of a friend, this company is named Conrad Group. They started up, and is like, hey, it's a startup. I know these guys. You should apply for the job. I said, okay. It was my first job interview coming out of university 2 weeks after graduating, and so they looked at my resume. Well, they're like, okay, well, you seem pretty technical. We'll hire you. And so I went in, and it was very clear that I didn't really know anything about. At the time, it was web development that they were doing, and so I had different skills. So by day 3, my boss takes me into his office and he says, "Luke, I can tell you're a technical guy, but we need someone who can hit the ground running, who can deliver projects like right now, and maybe you can come back at the end of summer or something if you study, and we'll revisit it." And I told my boss, I was like, "Look, I know I can figure this out. I'll come in 9 to 5. You don't have to pay me. I know I can figure this out."
You offered that.
And he's just like, okay. And so I did that. And so I did that for 3 weeks. And after 3 weeks, they gave me a contract, rehired me. I was the first person in the company's history to be fired.
So you never actually left the company, but you just offered the boss to, stop
I just
paying
said, I was like,
it's like an internship program. Right?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. I was just like, look, I'm going to stick around until I give up.
Right.
Like maybe you've given up on me, but I haven't given up on myself yet. So I'm going to, and like, if you'll, barring the police dragging me out of the office, I'm going to keep showing up. And so I did. And yeah, I was one of the first, I was the 12th person on the team. And over the 8 years that I worked there, I rose to senior leadership, software architect. The company grew to like 250 people worldwide. They opened up an office in San Jose, Costa Rica, New York.
Wow.
And so that was the story. And I would say I think a lot of young people right now, I think are having trouble getting work. You always hear about that. Sometimes you just have to be bold and brave and believe in yourself and do something a little bit like who does that? It's a little zany. But you prove that you're capable and that you can do it and you're not going to give up and you're just going to see it through. And I think that's what a lot of employers are looking for. If you're struggling to find a job, it's probably, maybe it's a tough marketplace. Maybe it's tough for everything, but if you can do something that sets yourself apart, then people are going to be wanting to snatch you up wherever they can find you. You just have to show it. So,
right.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of the most interesting stories I've come across, in the last year, I would say. Your story, it's not just cute, but it's also very powerful. And, it's a reminder of the importance of perseverance and passion, especially in the tech industry. Now, Luke, as we come to the end of our discussion, what final piece of advice would you like to give to our SME listeners out there about leveraging technology in their business? If you'd want to suggest one thing, one small thing, or one small habit that they should develop right after listening to you, after this podcast, what should they do?
So there's a saying, and I'm botching it, but it's something along the lines of like, you are your habits. And so, and it's like, get the small things in life right. You know, if you ever like, and this is coming from like a relationship perspective, it's like, what are the things you do every day? Well, you sit down every day, you know, with your wife or girlfriend, and you like have breakfast, or you have dinner, or you have to get the kids ready for school every day. Like, get those things right, because you do so much of your time doing those small mundane things. Make sure you're doing those things right, whether it's like doing it without arguments or doing it, you have a good efficient system for those things. I would say translate that to business. So what are the small things that you do every single day, and they seem mundane, but if you could shave off, you know, if you could turn a 15-second task into a 10-second task, but you do it every single time, you do it, you know, 10,000 times a year, you've probably gained like 2 weeks of labor back, right? And so shaving off small bits of minutes, even just small minutes, a little menial task, if you can shave off a minute or two where you can find it, it translates to, you know, large chunks of time. So I would say look at those things, and like my go-to phrase is something like, if you're ever working in a program, or you have a system, and it'd be like, and you always say like, oh, I wish I could just click a button and it did this. Like maybe you're copying contact information from one website to like a form or something, and you do that every day.
Repetition of tasks.
Exactly. And it'd be like, oh gosh, I wish there was just a button I could click and it would just copy over. Like those are the points where you could hire a pretty like high school student, even probably, who's like kind of tech savvy. They could probably figure out a little script to fix that thing, and it would be very cost efficient. And these micro gains are gonna, you know, give you a lot of benefit, I think. Yeah.
Wow, that's really powerful advice, I'd say. And you're not just a good human being, but also a very, very, very good entrepreneur, I'd say. And thank you so much for being here and gracing us with your presence. Thank you so much, Luke.
Thank you.
To our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Canadian SME Small Business Podcast. Today's conversation with Luke Jasudavicius has provided valuable insights into how SMEs can harness the power of technology to optimize their operations and drive growth. Remember, as Luke pointed out, technology is not just for large corporations. With the right approach, SMEs can leverage these tools to compete and thrive in today's digital landscape. We'd like to extend our gratitude to Luke for his invaluable insights, and to our sponsors, RBC, UPS, IHG Hotels and Resorts, and Google for their continued support in bringing you expert advice from industry leaders. For more resources on leveraging technology in your small business and to stay updated on the latest trends, visit CanadianSME.ca and subscribe to our podcast. Until next time, this is Kripa Anand signing off. Here's to optimizing your business through technology.